Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the Left Go Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity, yum. It's like...
That's right, folks. Gotta love Taco Tuesday, a day where we celebrate both the diversity of the United States, but also the real cool, one of the best things about the United States, and that's that we take things from a lot of different cultures and we make it our own, and we have a darn good time doing it. So thank you so much once again for tuning in. We very much appreciate you tuning in and encouraging your friends to do the same. Mike is doing his comment. If you got anything to say, anything you want to chime in on, feel free to go ahead and hit us up in the comments section. If you're watching us live, that's Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and you know all the time zones there in between. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's just jump right into it and do what we got to do. We're going to start off, obviously, doing what we usually do around this time, and that is we give a quick shout-out to our rifle and pistol caliber barrels. Just go there, check them out. They've got whatever you are looking for. If you're looking to either rebarrel your current rifle or do a completely brand new build, trust me, you will like what you see when you go there. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly fighting to elect conservative leaders behind enemy lines in the great state of California. If you want to be a part of California's future today, got to join CRA. And then we've got Hog Holsters, the home of the best concealed carry and tactical holsters in these, or Hog Holster on discount today. And then finally, all things Tac-To-Say, better known and operated. Check him out today. Once again, U.S. Okay, yeah, I know he's not really our good friend, but he is the Attorney General of the United States, Mr. Merrick Garland, and he was on the hot seat today. And they had so many things to go after the Justice Department for, and it was kind of funny watching members of Congress actually asked him various questions, and a bunch of it really was quite relevant, and it was interesting watching him kind of his non-answer answers. And I'll give you this. This first one really had to do with, I think, what has been on everyone's minds the last couple of weeks, talking about all of the prosecutions that have been taking place. Prosecutions, persecutions, however you wish to Attorney General Letitia James, District Attorney Fani Willis, or District Attorney Alvin Bragg. But what's interesting about this is that, I think Matt Gaetz makes a very good point here in terms of inquiring, well, why not just let us share with us your information and let us see the contact information and let us judge for ourselves whether or not there was any coordination. And well, let's just say Merrick Garland really didn't like that question.
To allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump. You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fani Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
The office is your
correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
You make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative.
And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process.
Well, this is disingenuous, or at least the answer that he was giving is disingenuous in two different ways. The first has to do with the fact that, in other words, he's not going to agree to pass all of those communications or not. He's not going to sit there and lie and say that there hasn't been because, well, he can't guarantee that there hasn't been. Probably doesn't know if there hasn't been. or does know that there has been, and doesn't want evidence that such coordination took place. But overall, it's real disingenuous. And the other reason why I think he does what he does and answers the way that he answers is because each of these representatives was given only 5 minutes. And so one of the things that a lot of these witnesses try to do is to filibuster. They're not as easy to give as yes or no. You know, it's really not that easy. For example, answer the question, are you still beating your wife? Well, so if you answer yes, I'm still beating my wife, you're admitting to beating your wife. If you answer no, I'm not still beating my wife, well, then you're admitting that you at least used to beat your wife. So sometimes a yes or a no answer does require some. Did you coordinate or did you communicate with them? And if you did communicate, at the very least, just communicate with them, will you pass those communications along? The answer to that is, for him, is either yes, we did, because I know for a fact that somebody talked with somebody, or I don't know, because which is probably the most likely answer. He really comes down to it. They're going to do as much as possible to make sure that as little as possible information actually gets over to Congress. And once again, this is a guy who wanted to be on the Supreme Court of the United States, and he can't even answer a simple question. Maybe they should have asked him if he knew if he could define what a woman was, because, you know, maybe that's the underlying thing to be a Democrat on the Supreme Court, is not being able to answer questions. Representative Biggs. And he's really just trying to get to the point of, you know, he wanted other information. He wanted information specifically having to do, he wanted the audio tapes of the interview between, I don't know if he's an investigator, if he's special counsel. I don't remember which one he is, but the gentleman who basically said, yeah, we're not going to pursue charges against Joe Biden for mishandling of classified documents because, well, he would come across as mentally incompetent. You had members of the House, you had members of the administration, still there. Other than the transcript, they really are not willing to let anyone even hear or see the tapes that were the evidence of whether or not he's actually senile. I mean, I think we all know that because we've all seen the evidence, but I think just the mere fact that they are, how shall we say, the mere fact that they are what's going on tells you that they don't want you to see what a doddering old fool he is. And they're even going as far as saying, well, get it. Here's the questions from Mr. Biggs.
That he had a poor memory. He was not able to answer all the questions. Substantively, the transcript may be accurate, but you know what? The audio would tell us so much more, which is why the Supreme Court, in rationale, and there was editing. Your own office admitted it, but you won't admit it today. You've been non-responsive, and that's why we need the audio, and that's why you're here.
See, and unfortunately, that video didn't have Garland's response. Garland was basically saying, look, use it to create AI or some sort of false narrative, some fake video or audio that could affect the president in the upcoming election, yada, yada, yada. So they're claiming executive privilege. When the reality is that all they really need is the transcript, and they already have enough snippets of real audio out there. That's what it really comes down to. They're afraid that when the public hears it, they're going to know that, yeah, that's Joe Biden. He's not. He is. He was a doddering old fool as he was quoting this stuff. And that's just that. And they're not going to vote for him. And the truth is, that's what people believe anyway. I mean, right now. And when they say too old, they're not just talking about referring to a time on a calendar, not just referring to his age, but literally they're looking at eyes. A man who can barely function at a tenth of the level that is required to be president of the United States. And don't get me wrong, that's a lot of pressure. You see what it's done to much younger, much healthier men during their time in the White House. He wasn't ready for when he ran, and he's not performing very well now, and the deceleration or the cognitive decline is only increasing. It's like a rock rolling downhill, and they don't want you to see that. They really do not want you to see that. I think that's one of the reasons why they want the to change the narrative, right? They're gonna do like they normally do. They're gonna give him a week off where nobody's gonna see him for a week. They're gonna pump him up full of vitamins and then stab him with that go-go juice, whatever it is that they put in him, right? Steroids or go-go juice or whatever it is, ginkgo biloba. I don't know what it is. Whether it was big speeches, big interviews. I think the State of the Union was the last big one. You notice that they're getting diminishing returns every time they use that stuff. He made it about 2/3 of the way through the State of the Union address before he started turning back into doddering old Uncle Joe. And he barely made it out of that speech coherently, which he still told about. And by the way, in that speech, he still told a bunch of lies, things we all know. The media never called him on it. They talk about, oh, look how strong he is, if there was ever any doubt. Here's the thing. That right there was the best. The best. He's got to be up there for a while, where he's got to think on his feet, right? It's going to be less than that. They're hoping that it's more than what will make people just say absolutely positively no, but they know they're not going to get that. So anyway, we shall see. But that was the conversation that was being had there. But I think another point, another thing that he was being questioned about, and this once again goes back to Biden policy. And once again, we're going to folks who are basically entering this country illegally and victimizing people who live here in the United States. Check it out.
We the people of Texas, money's not going to solve the problem when the Department of Homeland Security and the President of the United States refuse to enforce the law, ignore the policies, the streets of the United States of America through parole policies that this administration is advancing. And the Department of Justice is suing the state of Texas in court, taking valuable resources to go against the people of Texas when Texas simply wants to say that we should have a say in stopping people who are illegally, arrest them, and be able to deal with that on our own terms when the federal government refuses to do its job.
Enforcing our laws, our immigration laws. No, he's not. He is, at best, he is perverting them. And his excuse is he's using yes, people are entering into our country illegally, but they are applying for asylum. And because they're applying for asylum, we can allow them into the United States. Now, when they're applying, the face value of their claim and saying whether or, this is a claim that's likely to get denied. So we're sorry. Not only are they just letting them in, but they're dismissing a bunch of the cases. We'll go ahead and we'll throw out the case and we'll just let them in and let them stay. Now, mind you, these are people who are actually getting rid of them. They're flat out pretending they're saying we have no idea who they are because they could be lying about who they are, or they're coming from countries that have absolutely no identification. We don't know. Back to court, we're just releasing them. We're just like, yeah, no, we're good. We're good. Have fun. Enjoy your time here in the United States. That's how we're handling this. That's what, and our Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who wanted to be a member of the Supreme Court of the United States, this Attorney General. That right there is what we get from this Attorney General. And that, by the way, folks, is what results in what we have happening in our next story. I'll tell you, it is beyond actually shoot two cops. That's right. He shot two cops. Let's go here. And by the way, hold on, I'll read this to you. So this is being reported by Breitbart News. It says here, migrant accused of shooting two NYPD cops had immigration case dismissed within a year of illegally crossing into the Monday morning, crossed into the U.S. illegally last year, but the case against him has already been dismissed. The Post can exclusively reveal. Bernardo Castro Meda, 19, who shot one officer in the chest and another in the leg after they attempted to stop his moped in Queens, had a hearing in Chicago on May 6th where an immigration judge, the Biden administration's dismal asylum cases and deportation orders against 350,000 migrants because they didn't have criminal records or aren't deemed national security threats. Those migrants are also under no obligation to leave the country. Quote, the Biden administration is allowing foreigners to violate our immigration laws at every possible opportunity with no finality, no real solution of their cases. Quote, this is just the latest example proving that the government does not have the capacity to adequately vet large is now at the Center for Immigration Studies, told the Post. So you get what's happening here. So in other words, they're saying we're gonna let them apply that pass, right? That's what's going on here. That's what they're allowing to happen. And then on top of it, then they're turning around and they're saying, well, you know what? We're gonna have them come to court. And now you have a case where a guy from Venezuela. Now I'm sorry, other than maybe, okay, Afghanistan, Iran, North Korea, China, but dude just came in and shot two cops. And here's the thing. If this were just the first story, right? If this were the only story of an individual who came into the country illegally and victimized, raped, or shot, or robbed somebody here in the United States, or even first, and it won't be the last. And that's what we're dealing with here. That's why those questions were so important. That's why those questions were so relevant. Because once again, that's not just what we're dealing with, right? We're dealing with a lot. But then again, the rule of law really doesn't matter to the Democratic Party. It doesn't matter to Joe Biden. It just doesn't matter to him. Yep, that's it. Because social justice. Another example of social justice has to do with, well, those who are being put in jail. You know, those who identify, let me clarify, spend their entire lives identifying as a man, get arrested for sex crimes even, and then identify as a woman, and then get put into a women's prison. Well, you know what? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. This guy, well, it looks like he won a stupid prize because right here, transgender convict moved out of California women's prison after being indicted for rape. What does this story mean? A criminal complaint said the suspect, identified as 51-year-old Tremaine Dion Carroll, faces 2 charges of forcible rape and 1 of dissuading a witness from testifying. Fox News reported Monday, adding that he has a long criminal history. Female prisoner in Washington State, according to Breitbart News. The suspect, identified as Brian Kim, who goes by the name Amber Faye Fox Kim, was found guilty in 2008 on 2 counts of aggravated first-degree murder after stabbing his father and bludgeoning and strangling his mother to death. That's who this dude is right here, right? There's also a case where a transgender woman or a man living as a woman won a $160,000 settlement in August after being misgendered by jail employees in Broome County, New York. Breitbart News. Gender identification are deemed a female in a Maine prison per the outlet. Look, here's article after article, but the one I want to get back up to, and this is the main one, right? Dude who literally just said, "I am a woman, so I won't have to be in a man's prison." And you know what? While I'm here in this woman's prison, I might as well have some fun. And that's exactly what he did. And why would you expect anything different from this particular individual? You have no reason to expect anything different from him. Absolutely no reason to expect any different from him. And that's what's really kind of sad about this whole thing. Once again, this is where social justice wins out over justice. And that's what the real summation of all of this is. You have the head of the Department of Justice, right? Who's supposed to be making sure that justice is served, that the federal government is doing its people coming to this country from another country, or people just seeking to undermine some of the principal core values of this country. Nope, sorry, no justice here. Only social justice here. Social justice is all they are worried about. And for those of you who do not know, social justice is not justice. Period. Who has reported? Who reported in 2023? 0 abortions. That's right. This is according to Life News, or you can find it at lifenews.com. It says here, Arkansas reports 0 abortions as abortion ban saves babies. Official reports from Arkansas Department of Health and Vital Statistics show no abortions occurred in the state during 2023. Arkansas law generally prohibits abortion, but it contains exemptions for situations in which the mother's life is at risk. The state publishes annual reports every June documenting the number of abortions performed during the past year. The health department recently released 3 different reports showing the number of abortions performed last year, the number of women who experienced complications from abortion, and the number of abortions necessary to save the life of the mother. All 3 reports show 0 abortions during 2023. In the past, Arkansas has averaged around 3,200 abortions per year. All in all, our team estimates Arkansas pro-life laws are protecting thousands of women and unborn children from abortion each year. And folks, that is something to be celebrated. The fact that there are basically, if you look on average, what they're saying is over 3,000 babies that were born. Once again, the pro-abortion lobby may not believe that is something to support. That has a 1.65 replacement rate of births. I mean, basically meaning that we are a society right now that if we rely solely on those who are protecting the lives of the innocent is even better. And that's what we're talking about here. These are innocent children who've done nothing to deserve to have their lives taken. And not about Dobbs, but about, you can be mad as you want at the Supreme Court, but all I know is lives are saved, and I'm happy for it. All right, folks, so that's going to bring us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com, use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. Now, this had a bit of a defiant tone, I might say. For one example, according to the Babylon Bee, Anthony Fauci demands Congressman address him as the science. Because he said, you may not know this, but one time he did say that one time in Congress. He says, I am the science. Now, it was kind of sad because he went there and he lied about a whole bunch of stuff. He lied about whether or not, he lied about the fact that him and his folks were lying about emails, which talked about how they can get away with lying about the origins of COVID. Despite the fact that, his fingerprints and his name and his email address is all over all of these emails, he continued to lie about that. He lied about having anything to do with gain of function research. Didn't acknowledge changing the definition of gain of function. Denied that he had anything to do with any of the grotesque lockdowns and all of the things that these guys who plan these conspiracies do. And he was no exception. As with congressional testimony complete, Dr. Fauci returns to Hidden Lair on Skull Island to hatch next evil plot. Once again, that's also from the Babylon Bee. Can you say satire? Can you say satire? Okay, and then we have more coming from the legal system or the justice system. This one is kind of interesting because this one Democrats really had to take on one of their heroes. And they had to do it because of a recent decision that was made relating to President Trump and that how they feel about honoring convicted felons. And once again, brought to you by the Babylon Bee. It says here, Democrats call for removal of D.C. Mandela statue, or for Nelson Mandela, call for removal of Nelson Mandela statue in D.C. after learning he too. All right, folks, that's going to be it. Before we go, before we do a quick shout out to our sponsors, I just want to say a quick shout out to my good friend, Mr. Patrick Collins, the Gun Food. Now, my birthday is Friday, So I still haven't decided what. Excuse me about that. We'll be having a good time. But so make sure to wish me a happy birthday on Friday. But wanted to make sure to acknowledge him and say fundhitmanindustries.net. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly. If you want to be part of California's future today, join CRA. Things tactical but the gun. uscombatgear.com. And with that, we're going to call it a day. We will be back tomorrow on Hump Day. Y'all care, have fun, and we will holler at you then. Peace out.